Good evening, boys and girls, or day, or whenever you happen to be watching this, because I am posting this on our snow day. I hope you're doing well. We are going to start talking about new stuff for fractions, which will help you add fractions that don't have the same denominator. So this concept is called least common multiple. So you need to write down where it says least common multiple, but let's talk about what that means. The word least. What's a good synonym for least? Alright. Hopefully you said smallest. Least means smallest. Common, what does common mean? Something that is the same. And then multiple sounds an awful lot like multiply. So when we're saying least common multiple, we're looking for the smallest number when multiplied is in the same. So, for instance, we have the numbers 4 and the numbers 6. 4 and 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 5 is 20. I like to do times 5 and then I move on to the next number. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Let's move on to the next one. Let's go 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, 6 times 4 is 24, 6 times 3 is 30. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to look if they have anything in common. I see the 4s and the 6 doesn't match, the 8 doesn't match with anything, the 12s match. I don't see that 16 matches with anything. I know the 24, if I go one more with my 4s, the 24s do match. I know the 20s don't match and the 30s don't match. And I would find more matches if I extended it. But I see that my 12 and my 12 match, and they are the smallest number that are in common. So that is my LCM, is 12. And then we see 24 and 24 match, and that's just a common multiple, so a CM. Let's move on to another example. So here we're going to find both the least common multiple, the smallest number they have in common, and I'm also going to look for if they have common multiples. So this is the one where you're going to try it first, and then we'll work through it together. Alright, so what you do here is you count by 8s, or you do your 8s times tables. 8 times 1 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 3 is 24, times 4 is 32, times 5 is 40. Now we move on to the next one, because I like to do 5 at a time and then I can go back. So we go 5. This one's easy because we can just count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Now I look. I don't have any matches yet. So I'm going to go back to my 8 and I'll do 5 more. So 48 comes next, and then it's 56, and then it's 64, and then it's 72, and then it's 80. So 25, now I go back to my 5. 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. Now I'm going to look for matches. And I see that we have a 40 in common. And I don't see, I know that 80 will be in common because 80 ends in a 0, and I know that 5 goes into anything that ends in a 0, so I'm going to add myself an 80 there. But other than that, so that would mean my least common multiple would be 40, and my common multiples would be 40 and 80. Least being the LCM, the least common multiple being 40, common multiple is just what they have in common. Which brings us to our bring back to school problem. I've given you a 3 and a 5, which I want the common multiples and the least common multiples. So, I actually want you to take both of these numbers out to times 12, just to practice our multiplication facts. So you should have, to bring it back to school, you should have a 3 and a 5, extend it all the way out to 12, and then circle what is both your common multiples and your least common multiple. So least common multiple, you should have one of them, and common multiple, you should have more than one, because there are a couple numbers that they have in common. So I will see you next time I see you.